Yo, destruction. You're headed for self-destruction. From destruction. So this song here, Self-Destruction, put together by KRS-One, BDP, Boogie Down Productions. A song that came out, I want to say this was early 90s. But it came out during a time where there was a lot of crime, a lot of black on black crime, a lot of gang violence, and they got together. This song was done by a lot of the East Coast rappers: Queen Latifah, Stetsasonic, Boogie Down Productions, Kool Moe Dee, MC Light, even D Nice before he became the DJ that everybody knows now. When he was with BDP, he was their DJ. He rapped a little bit. He had some nice albums. Great song. The West Coast eventually put out something similar. Might hit you with that one next week. But great song. Thought we'd take that one back. What's up? Hey, listen. A little late out here with the pod, man. I tell you, I really commend these people that are that can get their stuff done timely, get it out. I guess if it's what you do is your job, other stuff won't get in the way. But I'm here. Like I said, I'm committed. I'm going to get one out every week. God willing and the creek don't rise. That's from my mom. Old school saying from down south. So listen, Brian Windhorst earlier in the week might have been on First Take, and he kind of echoed my sentiments about the NBA, and he was like, the next month and a half, these 20 plus games we have left, is going to be absolutely amazing, man. We had a great week this week. Some really outstanding performances, a few great games to kind of set up these playoffs, see who's looking like what. And now we finally, man, it's been a long season. We ain't had no drama outside, we had some things going on during the trade. But now, LeBron came at Stephen A this week. I liked it. I'm going to give you my take on it, but Stephen A responded. I think it caught him off guard. If you haven't seen it, look it up, LeBron. And I thought it was at the end of the game. This was actually during the course of the game that LeBron walked over to Stephen A. Basically what he was saying is he almost did a Will Smith. Keep your son's name out your mouth, was what he said basically. And I'm going to tell you something. For me, LeBron doesn't have the right to say that to Stephen A., to Shannon, to the guys off of FS1 Speak. You can't say that. Now, if your son was a child in high school, maybe I give you that. If he was a engineering major at USC, that's fair. Your son was the 55th pick in the NBA draft. Your son puts on a Lakers uniform or a G League uniform. Your son is a part of sports now, professional sports. He's a professional athlete. Guess what? It's on now, right? He is subject to the same criticism as any other player in baseball, basketball, football, whatever. So you can't protect him anymore. You put him in this position. This was something that you wanted, which some could say may have been a selfish move. I get it. Everybody wants it. But some things have to be done organically. This was not an organic move. This was a premeditated move by LeBron, to get his son drafted by the Lakers so that they could play together. Now, in my mind, y'all should have had that one moment. Y'all checking the game together. Bronny, you're done now. You're going to go to G League. You're going to spend your year down there. You're going to get better. I'm not going to waste a roster spot on you. You're going to get better and improve. So the words that Stephen A. said were factual. I think Bronny may have the worst stats in the league in quite a few categories. And some of that's due to playing time. You don't get it, you're not going to produce. And you know what? He may come along. The kid can play basketball. Like, he's not a bum. He can play. He's had some good G League performances, right? So he can play, but it's not time. It's not his time right now. So That went on. Stephen A, he respected, and I get it. He came from a dad point of view. I get all of that, right? I've been there. I got kids. I can understand that. You're gonna protect your own. But there's a certain place for that. Now, did he need to do it in front Stephen A at the game? Maybe not. He could have picked up the phone, called him, whatever. I think that was Stephen A's only issue with it. He didn't have a problem with LeBron saying what he said. Because guess what? A lot of the players get defensive when they get talked about, and they pick up the phone or they'll tweet something back at SA or anybody else who said something, right? So I get that. In this case, Bronny didn't stand up for himself. His dad did. And I get it. Bronny, 20 years old, 19, 20 years old. He's still a kid. His dad protected him. I get it. But he can't do that anymore. I'm sorry. It can't happen. So I'm on the Stephen A side on this. I had some conversations, and some people were with Brian, some with SA, but I'm on the SA camp on this one, man. It wasn't not necessary. But anyway, we had a great week. NBA is fantastic. We're coming off. This is right after we just watched OKC knock off the Nuggets. Great game, close for a while. SGA might have just sealed his fate as MVP. Big games, the kid comes to play, he steps up. Dropped 40 tonight. I think that's his 740th point game. We'll talk about him later on, too, a couple of areas. He hasn't scored under 20 this season. Like, the dude is playing phenomenal. Like, but one thing I noticed, though, and it's okay, especially with the way the NBA is. He's not a great three-point shooter. He'll knock him down here and there. He struggled today from behind the arc, but he still had 40. That might have got him 50 if he hit a few of those. Denver struggled. Gordon went out. Joker got hit in the elbow, but he played through it. Didn't cover that 59.5 PRA today. I think came in at 46, but that's another conversation. But no excuses. He played through it. He played the game. OKC won. I was actually very impressed with the win. And what really impressed me was I saw what I wanted to see when Chet came back. Chet and Hardenstein, and I don't know where this is going to end up. OKC matches up very well with Cleveland based on the fact they went out and got Hardenstein. It also creates a problem for Joker. Not a problem. I don't want to say that. But you got two 7-footers out there. That's just a fact. 2 versus 1, that's a fact. Even Porter's a 7-footer, but he doesn't play that type of game. So very interesting. It kind of has me thinking, and I'm gonna end with where my thoughts are on the NBA Finals. But this last week kind of is changing my direction. Very strong on Boston, but I'm not sure. But anyway, so we had that one. Last night we had Lakers Celtics. Brian went down. This is kind of scary, and I'm gonna tell you why. Injuries happen, but it's the recovery part that gets harder as you get older. I'm sitting here with a banged up shoulder now, man. I think I've had it forever, but it's getting better. And the doctor said, he's like, bro, you're old now. It takes a minute. It's not, you don't recover like you used to. So this scares me with Brian because it only takes one injury. And for whatever it is, it could have a trickle effect. Maybe he's Superman and he bounces back and he's fine. But this will be interesting. So the Lakers lost last night to the Celtics. Celtics look really good, man. Tatum went 40. I still like the defending champs. So I think they showed us that the Lakers, even though they had just won 7 in a row, they're not at that upper echelon in the league right now. They're in the second tier. They played Denver well. Denver is kind of in between, but I think that top group, Boston, Cleveland, OKC, they kind of stand alone right now. Denver's entered up there. Lakers this is going to hurt them. Not sure how long Brian is going to be out, but this will hurt them down the stretch because you can't afford to lose too many games now. So we're going to really see Luka's going to have to put the team on his shoulders and go to work. He had 30 last night. Jaylen Brown, saw what we saw in the finals. Jaylen Brown harassed him the whole game. He got 30, but he worked for that 30. What else we have? Lakers beat the Knicks earlier in the week. Great game. Lost again. Another injury. Jalen Brunson goes down. That's going to hurt the Knicks down the stretch. He might be out his ankle sprain. I think he's a couple of weeks out. That's 4 or 5 games, 6 games maybe. That can hurt your position. Right now they're climbing up the ladder. They're in about 5. They're 6 overall. They're 6 behind Denver. But you could easily drop out, and Memphis and Houston can slide back up the ladder. They've been struggling too, but they've been consistent. So that was another great game. What else do we have? Let's go down. We talked about the Lakers. Kyrie goes down. That one hurt, man. I don't know if you saw it. This is bigger than, I know that Luka trade was shocking to everybody in Dallas. This one hurts. This is like, the Luka trade put the knife in. This injury, when AD got hurt, that kind of turned the knife a little bit. This just took the knife, turned it, and jabbed it again, man. For Kyrie to go down, the season's over now. This is it. So we know who won the trade. Lakers won the trade. So there's no more questions to this. To see him go down like that, he's not coming back. And then again, he's a little bit older, in early 30s, so I guess he'll be okay. His recovery, haven't seen if he'll be ready for the start of the season. But I think all things are on hold with Dallas until next year. Right now, it's just a matter of everybody's under contract. Just get healthy. Let's finish off the season and get back next year. Because right now, it's over. I thought Dallas had a chance to make a good run, but injuries prevailed, and they are done. Dallas is done. So that one I kind of hated to see. Oh, what else? Boston beat the Nuggets. So again, Boston is in a good. I really like Boston defending and getting into the championship, but Cleveland, despite not having that big playoff experience, they look amazing right now. When we talk top 5, we go more than that. But Boston knocked off Denver, so Denver has lost this week, right? You lose to OKC, you lose to Boston. These are the contenders, right? These are the people you want to see. Like, you got to see OKC to get to the finals. You could see Boston in the finals. I'm big on Denver, but right now, these teams are just better. They're just better. But those are some of the great games during the week. We didn't hit 300. We got to 290. This was the game, talking about Denver. Joker went for 31, 21, and 22. A 30-20-20 has never been done before. The dude's skill set, man, it's unbelievable. The way he plays the game, you look at his athletic ability, the guy, he's very smart. His basketball IQ is off the charts. The coaching is great because they know how to run everything through him. You get guys cutting. Now you got Russ. I watched the play today. It was sort of a pick and roll, but it was in the paint. Russ had it. He dumped it down to Joker, kind of midway in the paint. And then he just rolled off for Joker, and Joker just threw one of those behind the back passes, and Russ was under the basket for a layup. You get Michael Porter. Like, he'll skip pass, and you're not supposed to do that skip pass. He'll skip pass with 7 foot to 7 foot, right? He'll throw a skip pass across court to Porter off the double team. Porter knocks down the 3. It's just, I can watch him play. I really enjoy watching Joker play, just how he plays the game. So smart. But 30, 21, and 22. Never been done before. Amazing. He's averaging what? 29, 13, and 11. Unfortunately, as great of a season that is, he still may finish number 2 in MVP voting. Other highlights, Zion. Zion's been playing well. Zion dropped 37 this week against the Lakers. They got blown out. The team is terrible. But Zion looks good in his playing. If you don't see him a lot, but he's been playing well. B.I.'s going. I hope he can continue this. My boy, Ivan Zubac, career high 35 this week. And you talk about the NBA is not good. Come on, man. Zubac, I was looking at his numbers. This year he's at 15-12. This is probably his best season in the NBA. He's got 10 years, man. It's been a long time. He got 10 plus years. He found a home with the Clippers. Wish the Lakers, man, could have kept him. We wouldn't be having these issues today looking for a center. But he's developed to a guy, I'm big on him. Zach Edey, I hope you're listening. You follow his career, man. That could be you. You could be the same guy. And Zach will get there. SGA, so we talked about he had 40 today. He had 50 earlier in the week. For the month of March, he's averaging 40 points a game, man. He has like 8 40-point games this season. I think the only other person to have more was Kobe. That if you think about that stretch Kobe had, might have been 20. The year he averaged 2007 or 8, when he averaged like 37, when he just went on that month of scoring crazy 50, 60, 40. This is where SGA is right now, man, and he's surgical with it. It's a mid-range game, man. He can get to the rim. He will, like I said, he'll hit a couple of threes, but he's all mid-range and layups, man, putting up these points. He's fun to watch. And that going back to the Zubac game, we had a little bit of drama. It wasn't a lot of drama, but Kevin Durant, Suns won the game. Kevin Durant had 34, but he got in it with Budenholzer, and probably rightfully so, man. I don't know what that team is, but they downplayed it. Just the coach and the star player going at it. Wasn't too much to it, but it was nice to see some kind of arguments on the court. Now, last week I forgot a name. Gary Trent Jr. is talking about Milwaukee. Playing great. Kevin Porter Jr. had a triple-double 2 games ago for Milwaukee. He's coming. He averaging 12 points a game in only 18 minutes. He'll be ready to really – those 2 guys are really going to help Milwaukee if Milwaukee has any shot of making a push in the East against Cleveland. It's going to come down to these 2 guys off the bench really supporting Giannis and Dame with that wing play, right? Because they're both good players, solid players defensively as well. We'll see. But I like them. Thanks. Somebody in the chat hit me up and it reminded me it was Gary Trent. But I like KPJ. This is going to be huge for him. If he can finish off a good year, I think hopefully he's got all of his stuff behind him now and he can just focus on the game of basketball, man, because he's a great talent. Like he's an amazing basketball player when his mind is on basketball. Miles Bridges, 46. Here, another one, right? Guys get second chances in this game. Jai got a few. Miles has gotten a second chance. He left a lot of money on the table, but you always got to remember these guys are young, man. They make dumb mistakes. They get caught up, and they just have to be careful, man. The game is, I can't say what I want to say, but they have to be very careful, right? You have people always looking to take advantage and looking for opportunities with these guys in the league. So they have to be careful. But Miles had 46. This thing, him and LaMelo Ball, this team is terrible, though. They're absolutely terrible. They lost like 10 in a row. They right there in Washington. But it'll be interesting. So does Cooper, are they bad enough? They get the drop and they get Cooper flagged? Maybe. We'll see. That'll be nice, though. LaMelo, Cooper flag, Miles Bridges. That's something to build around. Who else had a big game? Kessler. I'm going to end you with Harden, but Kessler, Alex Kessler, 25 boards. He's averaging a double-double. He's sort of that Zubac kind of center. He's had a very solid year up there in Utah, but just Utah, you really don't hear about these guys too much. But he had a very, very good season. So 25 for him. Now, Harden, first 50 ball of the year. Harden dropped 50 on Detroit. After Malik Beasley starts running his mouth and said Harden is easy to guard. Harden is probably one of the hardest players to guard in the NBA. His moves, his first steps, he's very shifty with the basketball. Left to right, he hopping to the left to get a 3 off. He got a nice crossover. Like, Harden has a lot in his bag, man. Harden got a lot of moves. So for Malik Beasley to say that, yeah, I guess you saw it. He dropped 50 on you. So he kind of hard to guard, Malik. So like I said, man, we had a lot of activity in the league, a lot of great players, a lot of great highlights. So we're going to move into this week. Like I said, we're down now. We're probably a month and a half out of the getting ready for these playoffs. But I think we kind of locked in on the top 4 or 5. Then everybody else will be fighting in those playing games. So we got that. Great week. Tonight we got Milwaukee's on. I was actually in between watching Phoenix and Dallas, and I just couldn't watch it. It's too just ugly basketball. So let's talk about our rookies. So I got 2 guys I want to talk about that if we broke up the Rookie of the Year into two halves, these two dudes would probably be fighting for Rookie of the Year. Filipowski from Duke, he averaged 19-9 in March. He averaged 10-5 in February, but he's getting the minutes now up there in Utah, and he's playing well. Matas Bazilis with the Bulls, he's getting the minutes now with some of the injuries. He's averaging 15-6-2 in March. He averaged 12-3 in February. Like, those numbers right now are better than Castle over the last 2 months. But they're late in the game. Neither one of them for the year are averaging double digits. But they're finishing off strong, and they might get some consideration. I think Castle's still the front runner. The two Frenchmen are playing well, Zach and Alex Sarr, but they're so inconsistent. Both dudes are so inconsistent. They don't 27, like Zach had 27 one night, came back with 7, then 11, then 6. Like, consistency is the key. And these guys will get there. One, they're in bad places, and that's a part of your growth, right? If you're on a bad team, it's hard to excel. Your growth is different. You've seen it in a lot of players. But I think right now, Castle's probably a front runner. If those two guys finish off extremely strong, they could be back in the conversation, right? They could get in that conversation. But I think Castle's done it all season. He showed up for All-Star Game weekend. He's probably the guy. Now, the MVP, I think we know that's kind of locked up. There is nothing, barring injury, I think. And maybe he might go down, and this could be. Now, Joker will get a vote. I'm not going to say he'll be unanimous. Joker will get a vote, but SGA is he on the second best team in the league. He's leading in scoring. He plays defense. What more you want from the guy? Like, he's doing everything to keep his team. Like, Chet was out. He kept his team going. Chet's back now. He got a number 2 guy to score. And these other guys are playing. Williams is playing. Dort's playing well. So, yeah, he's the guy right now, man. SGA has come along. Joker, like I said, Joker's 29, 13, and 10. And he's second place. And this is probably better than his stats now are better than his MVP year. And the same for Giannis. Those are the only 3 guys I'm going to talk about. Giannis is right there. Giannis is at 31, 12, and 6. Milwaukee's struggling now. So, you got to look at that part of it too. Both Denver and Milwaukee, they're not in that top 3. They're top 5. Milwaukee's climbing their way back up. They're fighting for it. They're fighting it back in. But SGA is at the top, so he's definitely your MVP. Now, we talk about these teams, and I can't even go top 5 anymore right now, just because it's so close. Cleveland just won; they're on 13 in a row. I'm telling you, this two-headed monster, the guard play. They've had games where they've had 4 20-point scores. Strus is back shooting. They are tough. They have it all. They hit everything you need to win. Phil Jackson has this metric. It's called 40-20 rule. If you win, it's the 40-20 rule. If you win 40 games before you lose 20, that makes you a true contender. This year, that's 3 teams: Cleveland, OKC, and Boston. Probably your favorites for the NBA championship. Cleveland dominant on both sides of the ball. OKC is the same way. There's not a lot of separation from them, and they match up well if we were to get there. OKC is number 2. We talked about the bigs. They have everything, right? They have the blueprint that Cleveland is using this year. They have the same one. Getting Hardenstein even the playing field for them. Number 3 is Boston. They're still defending champs. Boston has the same blueprint. Boston has height too. I mean, you got Kristaps. Al Horford showed you he still had it last night. Old man Al still playing. But Tatum and Brown, when they get going, they're so hard to beat, man. That might be one of the best tandems in the game right now. They're hard to beat. The bench is coming around. Oh, I didn't talk about that. They had 2 guys go for 40 that wasn't even starters last week. First time in Boston history. 240-point games, same game, and it wasn't Tatum and it wasn't Brown. Never been done. You would think with all the superstars the Celtics have, this would have been done. There's also a documentary going right now, too, on, I think it's on Max, about the Celtics every Monday night. I need to lock in and see this. It's supposed to be good. But anyway, so that's Boston. So your top three are kind of sealed. I don't think we're going to get – that's not changing. What really gets interesting after that is this 4, 5, and 6. And as the playoffs get closer, we're going to have to start breaking this up into kind of looking at it more from 1 through 10 in each conference, see who that 7, 8, 9, 10 are going to be. Right now, we're just going to look at the 5. The Lakers, I have Denver in my 4. Lakers have a slightly better record, but I have Denver at 4. And based on this injury of LeBron, the Lakers could slide down to 5. Memphis is healthy. Even starting 2 rookies, Memphis has stayed right there in that 5 or 6 spot. The injury, this Lakers, if they falter and they start sliding down, Houston had a rough spot here over the last 10 games. They're like 5 and 5. Denver's going to be that number 14. Houston could get back up in the 5 spot. So then that leads us to, where is this going to end up? I've been thinking a Boston-Denver final, but this past week, it very well may be 1 and 2. It very well could be Cleveland and OKC. And I know, and I'm a guy, I talk about it too, like you got to have that playoff experience to get to that championship level. I think these two teams may just be ready, man. And you would have to go through 2 champions to get there, because you still got to go through Denver. Denver's still a top team. You're going to have to go through Boston. Both of those teams may be able to do it, man, to be honest. I think they both have the ability to go through it and get to the final. So I think I still believe Boston, Denver, but I'm kind of leaning. I'll see how this next week goes. I'm leaning toward Cleveland and OKC in the finals, all right? Not going to be box office, right? You got two Midwest small towns. You know, it's not what we used to. It's not in LA. It's not New York. It's not Boston, right? But it would be great basketball. It would be great basketball. So, hey, there we go. Another week. We're back. We're going to be back sooner. It's probably going to be a quick turn going back for next week. But, hey, let's go. I appreciate you all again. Like and subscribe. Pass it on to your friends. Hey, God bless you. Y'all have a great week.